just got this a few minutes ago. This is cool. Awesome. I won't be able to wear it when I go to an LSU game, though. They'll throw something. They'll throw some jambalaya at me or something. Okay, moving right along. I think we actually got back on schedule and we're a little ahead now. This is awesome. The next high school is Troy High School. Andrew Hamilton is the instructor. Take it away, Troy High School. Very relaxing the stage. Very good. All right, since we're running a little bit ahead of time, I can expound upon a couple of things. Number one, they're doing so many things really well, and the training and instruction is really right on. They're very mature. In some ways, they're mature beyond their years. And when we talk about drum lines and percussion, we talk about maturity, we talk about quality of sound, and we say, well, what does that mean? Well, one of the things I noticed right off the bat is those triple strokes on the low end. They were totally using the correct muscle grouping, and they weren't struggling at all. You didn't see the 3 knock on the doors, you saw the 1 motion with the support from the fingers. So that's going to pay dividends when you go to play more advanced rudiments. Whenever you play a flam, there's going to be a couple of notes in the low end that need to be bounced if it's a faster tempo. The second thing I saw was that an intense amount of focus and purpose. So they are here for a reason. They want to play well. They have standards. They have excellence. And that's all the things we want to use marching band and drumline to teach our students, so that when you go on into life, you can carry that with you wherever you go, regardless of what job you're going to do. Excellence is very important. Consistency, standards, expectations, delivering the goods, super important. And they were doing that. The thing that I would say that separates them from maybe one of the most elite groups in the world, some of the drum corps, is that their presence could be tweaked a little bit. So it goes back to where are you projecting to. If you have this look, or this, that look of presence and projection and confidence, and that you really want to clearly say something. So I think that you could even work on your look a little bit more individually. You want to look your personal best and project that, then have a sense of uniformity. It's kind of an easy thing to fix, but it's a hard thing to fix too, because it's a habit. So you're going to have to undo some things. I was amazed with the cymbals. Boy, they were sitting there rapping out some double beats on the cymbals with a stick. I felt sorry for your left bicep, because they were holding the cymbals forever, but they did a nice job on the doubles. So that was a pretty cool idea. I don't think I've really seen that before. So that's a real creative way to build up their chops. At the beginning of their performance, I felt like the bass drum section on the eighths, boom, 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 was reacting to the pulse, and it felt labored and lagging and back and without forward leadership and motion. So, as a drummer, it takes a certain personality. A lot of times in drumming, we need to push the pulse and drive the car. Sometimes you get to lay back on the style of music, or sit in the middle of the pulse, or on the back end of the pulse, but bass drums, it really felt like you guys were reacting and not pushing the ensemble. So make sure you understand that there's a concept of pulse when you're moving your feet. You can play like right on the front edge of that foot hitting, or in the middle, or on the back end. And that determines the amount of energy and how the rest of the ensemble is going to react. So drummers have to understand time. And there's not just a beat, but there's parts of a beat. A front, a middle, and a back end of the beat. And if you're lagging and lacking energy, maybe you didn't eat enough or you didn't sleep enough, that can change day to day. Even in professional ensemble, the Hellcats that I play in, sometimes we'll be on the back end of the beat or the front, and we have to be conscious of where we're interpreting pulse. So I didn't really feel that in the bass drum section. It got better once you started adding the runs. Okay? Very nice wrist turns from everybody. The angles looked good. Good training, good teaching going on, real mature quality of sound, especially on the rolls. When we talk about maturity on rolls, we're really talking about the correct muscle grouping and then the support of the second diddle. Now I'm demonstrating a technique where you accent the second part of the diddle to strengthen it. That was real famous in the Strube drum book in 1869, which the military was using, where he accented the second part of the note, and it gave you a stronger quality. Eventually you get so fast you can't do that, but at least you're thinking about the quality. I'm really thinking about the velocity of the fingers into that second note, and I could tell that you guys were aware of that, and you sounded mature. Okay, let's play the next thing. These guys play some pretty complex stuff. It's top shelf kind of mature writing. The things that I noticed my ear was drawn to, the first time the bass drums had their exposure, their run, it could have been a little better in that the blending of touch, in other words, volume from player to player, and then also the openness of the rhythm. Sometimes bass drummers, if they have, they go, they just throw it in and they condense the rhythm. And when they condense the rhythm, it creates a space before the next person plays. So you got, instead of going, you might have, they have that space. So I would encourage you to open up your rhythms and play towards the last note. Sometimes we get the motion going in and we blow off the second, third, fourth note. Instead of so open them up and voice lead to the next person so that there's more cohesion between the players. So you got to balance your touch and then open up your rhythms and play through each micro phrase to create that cohesion. Cymbals, real nice job. When you got into that sort of thing, cymbals have to deal with what we call articulations. In other words, long sounds and short sounds. Most of the time in drumming, we don't have to worry about that because you hit it and it's a short sound. Sometimes we have rolls and we have longer sounds, but I felt like you were a little sloppy as you established your articulation, and it took you about 2 bars to find your technique and the length of note. So you have to mirror the length of note player to player so we don't have ragged releases. It's the same way a brass section or a clarinet section, but think about it, is where are the release points. So focus on your release points and your articulations. But very good job overall, really, really mature ensemble. Got something else for us? Knock it out. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Relax. Enjoyed that tremendously. We start getting into what the judges call the layering of responsibilities or simultaneous responsibility, and specifically within the DCI and WGI activity. That means you're not just playing, but you're layering the physical motion of what you have to do with the choreography with your body. You're layering in environmental motion, like if you get out of a safe line and you're in a diagonal or you're turning your gears, all of a sudden it's going to sound a little different, and that presents a challenge. You need to understand how to work through that as a performer. And then the musical challenge. So you got physical, environmental, and musical. And in the activity of competition for drum corps, when you can layer all 3 of those simultaneously and really pull it off, then that's a higher level of achievement than a group that maybe is just standing there, okay? So I applaud you for layering all those responsibilities. Cymbals, nice job. I thought that sometimes I could hear individuals with different techniques, and what I mean by that is when you play crash cymbals, you're basically trying to get rid of the air. When you put the plates together, you have an air pocket, and you're trying to get rid of the air. And the way that you do that is pretty much by 2 different ways. You create what's a flam, where one side hits before the other to allow the air to escape. And then you also create offset. That offset allows the air to escape. So I heard different timbres and opennesses of flams, kata versus chat, and different offset amounts. The offset amount is going to really control how many harmonics you're able to create off the cymbals, the range of sound coming off the cymbals. If you do too much offsetting, it's thin, because there's not enough plate touching plate. But anyway, I think that you could go down the line with your cymbal section and you could have them each play individually. And I think that you'd be surprised that some of them sound very different from one another. So besides timing and all the choreography and articulation, cymbals also have to think about angle and offset. You got something else to play? One last thing. Cool, let's hear it. Give it up, man. That was outstanding. Awesome. There's something really special going on with this group. They have a strong commitment and purpose and buy-in. I mean, trying to get everyone to buy in and selling at the bass drum. The buy-in there was awesome, and the oops, oops, and the cymbals. It adds so much energy and groove. And one thing that I'd like to talk about real quick is ensemble mud. Sometimes things muddy up an ensemble that make it not so clear of what you're presenting. And they actually did not have this. And what I mean is their inner beats were right where they belong. There's a clear delineation between what was accented and what was unaccented. And in drumming, that's really important because we don't have melody to work with, so we have to create melody by accented and unaccented tones, like bum 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 bum. Now, if I didn't have two heights, it would sound like this. Okay, then that's hard to digest with the ear and understand. So their ensemble mud was at a minimum because they had a clear delineation of heights. Their angles looked really good. they were able to play complex flam patterns because they understood the muscle groupings with the fingers for the low end support. Tenor is awesome, bass drum's awesome. One thing I liked about the bass drum section, and that also reduces ensemble mud. Sometimes groups will tune the bass drums too close intervallically, so you have doom 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 instead of doom 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 doom. So widening out those intervals between the drums reduces ensemble mud. I thought maybe your bottom bass could be a little bit lower just to add more oomph on the bottom end. Are you missing someone? Yeah, okay. So they're missing bass 5. The comment I just made would have been fixed if they had bass 5. But yeah, you want that singability, that doom, 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 doom. So I usually like to tune the bottom one as low as I can get it to still sound good with whatever parts they're playing, and tune the top one pretty high, and then fill in the intervals. But so many times, that's an easy fix. Judge groups and their intervals are just really too condensed, especially indoors with WGI. It muddies up indoors quickly. Snare is outstanding. Your hands look great. You're being taught really well. I think you ought to give this guy a raise. He's doing a great job over there. And we're lucky to have him. And you guys are working hard. And we got something real special going on here. And it's just a joy to work with you guys. Troy High School, give it up. All right, thank you. We'll turn the stage and bring on the next group.